Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the WhatsApp Odyssey Reading, a series of mine where we dive into the minds of other writers and explore the grand universe they have created for us to enjoy. Hopefully. There are so many minds out there with so many amazing imaginations, filled with stories of grand proportions for us to embark on, where we wonder, where will it take us? What will we see? Because with each new adventure, each new experience, we are never really the same after, are we? Mind you, with this series, where I narrate short stories of other writers or ones I write myself, they will be family friendly. The length of each story varies, and I do hope you enjoy. This one in particular is indeed a creepypasta. Tales of frightening and thrilling things sometimes based on real stories. Maybe this one is, maybe it isn't. I do not recommend listening to in the dark. But if you do, be forewarned, because you never know what may be lurking in said darkness. From Wattpad.com comes a story called Kingdom Hearts, The Cathedral Glitch, written by Chucky Freak. Remember the beginning of Kingdom Hearts? Sora is in a limbo-like shadow area standing on cathedral-like objects made of stained glass, showing a Disney princess in a scene from a movie, respectively. Usually, if you were to be defeated by the Heartless, you would start over from the beginning of the fight. However, if you were defeated on top of the shadow-white cathedral and died exactly in the center of the apple she is holding, you won't start before the battle. Instead, Sora respawns in a different cathedral. The first thing one notices about the area is the music. Instead of being choir-like or happy, as the music in the game often is, the music is nothing but this odd static sound with a single broken violin attempting to play a scratchy version of the Kingdom Hearts theme. The longer one stays in this area, the louder the music, quote-unquote, gets, and even trying to mute or turn down the television won't shut the music up. As for the stained glass floor, it's like the Snow White one, but the color of the glass is harsher, and the scene is somewhat more frightening than the original. Instead of having Snow White eating an apple, she appears to be dead at the bottom and holding the apple, while the evil queen laughs in triumph while holding her heart. But of course, with it being Kingdom Hearts, it's the traditional way the heart is shown in the game. As you progress in this place, the other cathedrals have similar scenes. Beauty watches in horror as her father is killed by the beast. Sleeping Beauty lies completely still, her face a gaunt gray, hinting at some sort of decomposition, while King Philip is burned by the dragon Maleficent. Cinderella is sold into slavery by her stepsisters. The scenes basically show what dark endings could be if they were put into the story. The detail in the pictures, especially the darker segments, are far more advanced than one would expect from a game of this time. But it made sense, showing what Sora had to lose if he did not save his friends and family. The Heartless you face in this area are also different. Instead of being cute shadows, they have yellow eyes with red irises and are taller than Sora, more slender, and have claws at the ends of their hands. These creatures move insanely fast, and they often dispatch all but the most experienced players with ease. They are also difficult to see as they blend in with the black background. Most people are only able to see their eyes. The staff and the shield don't work against these creatures, so only people with the sword are able to fight them. Most people who randomly stumble upon this often reset the game, thinking it's a glitch. And because they're unable to get farther than the first cathedral, however, there are some who have made it farther to other cathedrals. The music gets louder, as mentioned before, and a strange whispering can be heard beneath the noise and violin. Finally, the player makes it to the last cathedral in the area and fights the giant Sora Shadow Heartless. He's different than the one you usually fight. There is no heart-shaped hole in his chest, and his eyes are red with yellow irises. The fight is rather short as well. The giant grabs Sora, who begins to be wrapped up by the darkness. It begins to enter his eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. Sora begins to scream while the violin begins to play louder, combining with the whisperings and other screams, when it soon becomes a mess of noise until the darkness covers Sora completely. Most of the noise, save for the whispering, abruptly stops and the words, "Game over," flash continually on the screen. Players who try to reset the game and start over find that every time they try to play that copy, all the screens show is the game over sign, with the whispering in the background. The very few players who made it that far have also reported to hear whispering when they are alone in the rooms, and have seen red eyes with yellow irises in dark and distant places. The designers of the game deny ever making this section and say that creatures, area, story, and music don't appear in the code. They claim it as a fabrication by people with a sick sense of humor. However, there was one designer, one Akane Hoyotame, who was on the game only in the beginning stages, when this level was being created, and left shortly after this section was finished. Because of the fact that he left so early, his role in the game was uncredited. He made some calls to the Japanese police, claiming that there were creatures following him with red eyes and yellow irises. The police dismissed his reports as the ramblings of a lunatic and let him out of the police station. He was never seen again that day, said by family and friends who reported on the police incident, after the neighbor in the apartment next to him claimed that they heard Akane screaming about eyes and whispering when they called the police. And there concludes Kingdom Hearts: The Cathedral Glitch. I hope you enjoyed. I actually really wanted to do this one because I haven't really seen too many Kingdom Hearts creepypastas that were interesting to me, that weren't too gory or anything that was a little bit too far gone. I wanted to have a story that I could actually enjoy reading myself and more so enjoy reading to you all. So this one I liked a lot because the original story was actually written a bit differently. I added and replaced a few things in this version to make it a bit more family friendly, because there were a few things in there that I just chose to take out and read it differently. Like the one part where I had it where Sora, it was a part of the game where it shows Sora what could happen if he didn't stand up and help his friends fight and family fight the darkness. What could happen? So that was the one part I added to it, and that's exactly what I was thinking originally when I read the story over the other day. And I thought that that would have been a really cool addition to add to the game. And it's stuff like that really makes you want to make sure you complete the game to the fullest and see everything the game has to offer. I've owned the original Kingdom Hearts ever since it first came out, and just last year or so when I first got the remastered edition for the PlayStation 3, the collection of it, I had discovered things that I never knew about the game yet. Like how you could hit the Queen of Hearts in Wonderland when she sends her cards to fight you. I didn't know you could actually jump on the throne and smack her with her Keyblade and she flips over. I never knew that. That was hilarious. So stuff like that was really cool to me. And thinking about this, that's why I enjoyed reading this so much, because it would have been really cool to have something like that. And the whole part where you have the darkness, where people actually are playing the game and they encounter stuff like that in the real world, that was really cool, because it brought me to the whole thing where it reminded me of another creepypasta that I read where Sora was basically drugged and kidnapped by Disney, and his whole memories were fabricated. The whole adventures he went on for Kingdom Hearts 1 to 2, basically, the whole storyline for that was fake. And it kind of made me think, what if it was the reverse of that? What if the game was actually real and we were actually just watching it through the eyes of Sora to help us combat the darkness that's coming to our world? You know, what if darkness in that world was just stronger, and it was trying to reach out and expand to the other worlds out there? What if our world was one of the worlds to theirs? Because think about all the different worlds you see in Kingdom Hearts. There is really no limit, because you go from worlds from Winnie the Pooh to Tron to Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, the most cartoony, exaggerated characters ever, to the most realistic ones, like Pirates of the Caribbean and Winnie the Pooh, in the reverse order, I should say. So that's why I really enjoyed reading this story. I thought it was very compelling. It's kind of funny too, because most creepypastas with video games, they tend to be like that, where you play the game and it's like, oh, it's doing something that it's not supposed to be. Now it's affecting me out in the real world. So you that whole thing kind of burnt off with me, because that's what you usually run with games like this. It's usually something like that. But I like the twist with this because of how it easily could work like that. So without further ado, special shout out to Colt Noise for producing this track for the podcast. This one is called Valley of Infinity. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Let me know if there are any other dramatic readings you would like for me to do in the future. And just tell me what stood out to you. What did you like about this episode in particular with the Cathedral glitch? Was it something that you liked at all? Or is there anything that it could have had different or done differently? In my personal opinion, I think that it should have just went a route where he just discovered this part of the game that was actually a part of it, not just a glitch, and made it a real thing. But at that point, you know, maybe have it that way and then say, I'm experiencing the things in real life, I'm experiencing them currently, and not really make it a glitch, you know, maybe not do the volume thing, because that was kind of maybe distorted, to kind of portray the message, the craziness that's happening, what is at risk here if you don't do this, if you don't help your friends and everything. But things like that I would have done a little bit differently to make it seem like it wasn't a glitch, and also at the end of the story say, this is just a fan fiction, this isn't real, don't check this out in the game, you know? Because I can't tell you how many times I've been trolled before thinking something actually does happen in a game, and I keep trying. I'm like, maybe I'm off by this much or that much, but it's things like that. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoy this, whether you're listening to it or watching it on iTunes, Soundcloud, YouTube, whatever. For YouTube, I am thinking of doing a different kind of format in the future, where I'll have a video in the background and kind of have a video of me too, like a video overlay. But I'm kind of thinking how and what kind of videos I'll have in the background to kind of portray this. Maybe I'll just have the classic owl in the background and just have me overlaid at the top corner or something. I don't know just yet. Let me know your suggestions if you think I should do something like that for YouTube, to make them actual videos and have them actually stand out and make it a little worthwhile to watch them more on YouTube than my other things, but still make it so everyone can still enjoy the story itself and the dramatic reading. So there we go. Until the wind hits our sails yet again, I'll see you on the next Odyssey. Later days.